Okay, that should be recording now. Let me just get this up. All right, so yeah, Owen, thanks for coming on. Yeah, first off, thanks for coming on. I know you're really busy at the moment.
Sorry it's taken so long, but we're here.
Hey, mate, you got a fight next month. It's fine. That's understandable. Obviously, you're born and bred in Worcester. Yeah, yeah. Did you have any siblings like growing up?
Yeah. I got a younger brother, Jamie. He's got 18 now. He just turned 18. So yeah, he's never been into the boxing. Well, he used to go down the gym sometimes with me, but it was never an ambition for him to, become a boxer. And I think he just enjoyed the fitness of it.
And like obviously Worcester, like I think a lot of people may have heard of Worcester, but it's not like somewhere on like the map in like the UK or somewhere.
No.
You know what I mean? So
No.
like what is it? What's it like? What's it like growing up in Worcester then? Because to me, it's considered to be quite a small part of the country,
I love it. I've never been one for like like big cities in like Birmingham, Manchester, stuff like that. I wouldn't want to move away from Worcester really. If I didn't have to. It's nice. Everyone kind of just knows everyone. There's not a lot of not a lot of like I don't know violence and stuff like that. Like I'm quite lucky to be able to grow up here and to live here still. And but yeah, there's like I said, it's not very well known. It's not massive. We just keep ourselves to ourselves, and I like it that way.
Yeah. That's a bit like where I'm from as well, because I'm from mid Wales and it's like proper like rural there as well. So yeah, it's a bit like that.
Have the accent.
Yeah, no, it's because so my dad, he's Welsh, but he went to school in England, and then my mum's English, so it's kind of. But I think it was a couple of fights ago. I think it was one here in Birmingham. I think was it Des Newton might have been that fight. Yeah. But I remember when I was watching it on YouTube, when you were fighting, I could proper hear your proper fans that you like singing and stuff.
Yeah.
So when I was asking about Worcester, I just wanted to know because is it quite a tight knit place? Because I was just I could hear it in when I was watching the YouTube videos.
I feel like in Worcester, if you've got obviously Worcester's like I said, Worcester's quite small, and if you've got a bit of a I don't want to say name, I don't mean it like that, but like with Worcester, like we're not known for having like boxers, so now we've got like someone that's trying to like put Worcester on the map. I have had a good support, and yeah, they do get behind me, and yeah, they come out in full force, and it's been made quite known for like BT Sports and stuff like that. They love to sing. So yeah, I'm lucky in that respect.
Yeah. Before boxing, obviously you like playing football.
Yes.
So I saw that you scouted by Villa, Bristol Rovers, Walsall. I think that's one as well. I can't remember.
Yeah.
That's it. So I was just wondering, how close were you to playing football or pursuing football rather than boxing? And then when you did choose boxing, why that?
Like I said, I played at a decent standard, but it got to a point where, as a kid, I was about. I think I got into boxing when I was about 13, and as a kid, I was technically a good player, but I just physically couldn't do the things. Like I was quite like a big. I was on the bigger side. I was quite a chubby kid, and so that's why I got into boxing, because I just wanted to lose a bit of weight. And yeah, I felt like as a kid, I feel like a lot of kids' dreams, to become a professional football player, this and that. But as you start to get older, you start seeing there's other things you can do, and yeah, I didn't. As I got older, I started feeling like I was moving away from the football a bit, and I just wasn't enjoying it as much. So when I got into the gym, and I just had a click straight away, and I thought, yeah, I want to give this a go properly. So I finished with the football, and luckily it was right. It seems like it was the right thing to do.
Yeah, it looks like the right thing so far, definitely. So you said you originally started boxing to get fitter or to lose weight. So when you're younger, I just wanted to ask, like, were you like quite self-conscious or like of being on like the bigger side, or like were you bullied about it or whatever?
I was never bullied about it. But yeah, I feel like I was a little bit self-conscious. I don't know. Yeah, but I was never bullied or anything like that. It was just for myself. Like I was always like my biggest critic, even like now. But even then, like if I had a bad game, so to me it was just going to the gym to lose a bit of weight because I thought that could increase my game on the pitch. But
Yeah.
instead, it kind of took me away from it. And I remember I got in the gym, and I think it was my second session, and I got in the ring and sparred with this lad, and I got absolutely battered. But I just enjoyed it, and I got back home and I said, like, I don't think I want to play football no more. I want to stay boxing, and it just went from
just after one session. That was it.
yeah. After my first session, yeah, I got in the ring with a lad from Worcester called Dan Lloyd, and he was a boxer at the time. He had a couple of fights. He's finished now, but yeah, my first session I got, and I just said I'll get in there. I'll do a bit, but I was never known for that. I was always a shy kid, and I'd never like I used to hate fighting. Like I don't like violence outside of boxing. Like I'm very calm and stuff like that. But yeah, it was crazy how it all just come about.
And your dad, Steve, he was a journeyman boxer. So he fought. I looked at his record. He's like fought all over Britain. Like I think he fought in Newcastle once, fought in Birmingham, London, whatever. So I just wanted to ask, like, obviously you never actually saw him fight because he didn't want you to. Did that ever want to make you succeed more when you started boxing? Like, oh, you know what? I know my dad didn't have the best time, so I'm going to make sure that I put everything into
I just wanted to, because I met, like I said, when I went to the gym and I sparred the first time, and obviously not being known for being like a fighter or like violence and stuff. And I remember coming back home because my dad didn't want me to go to the gym originally because of like what I was like. And I remember coming back home, and when I told him I got in the ring and I sparred, I will never leave me. I remember seeing his face, and he was so surprised and he was so shocked, and he just seemed so like happy and proud. And I thought, yeah, you know what, like, and that's always stuck with me. And I feel like that's one of the reasons why I've decided like to take it as a career, because like I've seen how like happy it made him. And as a kid, like not being able to watch him fight, like I always wanted to, but obviously he was there. He was just there to get paid. He wasn't there to win and stuff like that. So that's why. So seeing it now, I can understand why he didn't want me at his fights, but obviously back then it was hard to take it as a kid. I remember going into him the next morning and be like, "Oh, Dad, did you win? Did you knock him out?" And he said, "No, I lost this time again." As a kid, because it's your dad losing, but yeah, it was that's what he was there for.
So when you went to, so you didn't actually tell him when you went, you did it without him knowing?
No. I told him that I was going. I come back from school, and there was another lad that I went to school with. He was a bit older than me, but I've known him for years. And he said, "Oh, do you want to go down the gym?" And I said, "Yeah, okay, like whatever. Yeah, we're going." And then I come back home and I told my dad that we were going down the gym. I said, "Can you take me?" And he said, "Yeah." He said, "All right," but he said, "I don't think you'll like it." He said, I don't know if I want you to go. I don't think you'll enjoy it." I said, "I'll just give it a go. Like I just want to see what it's like." And he said, "Okay, I think you'll like it." And then when I told him about when I come back and I told him that I've been sparring and stuff, just the look on his face was crazy.
Yeah. And what, like, since you're doing it properly now, I'm like, does he like ever give you bits of advice? And like, does he like actually? Obviously, I know you're like with Malcolm Melvin and that now, but does he ever get involved in like your fights? Does he like hold ads for you or something like that?
Yeah, like we speak a lot about things, but he tries to. He doesn't really. He tells me little things. Obviously, he was in the game for a long time, but we've like I said, we've taken different paths. Whereas I'm looking to pursue it as a career, and get somewhere and like provide for like a family, say, out of boxing. Whereas he just done it like he was fighting like 4-round fights just for a bit of quick cash. So obviously he didn't train as an athlete would train. And he wasn't in the gym every day. Like he'd go and do the run now and then and be in the gym maybe twice a week. But no, like he has full trust in Malcolm, as do I. And like he lets us kind of, he doesn't try and get involved in the training side of it. But yeah, look, we have conversations about boxing and about like little things here and there. And if there's boxing been on the weekend, like we say, oh yeah, he won, it was a good fight, this and that. But yeah, that's it.
So now, obviously he runs a painting and decorating business. So are you still helping him? Because I know you were helping him before, but obviously.
No, not now. So like, the reason I work with my dad is because like he's very flexible. Obviously, if I went to go and work a job, I wouldn't be able to get the time off that. That I'd need. So yeah, I finished work last week. So it's given me like 5 weeks, 6 weeks now to be able to fully focus on my training and my boxing. Being able to go, like I'm training this morning. In a bit, like whereas before I'd have to try and schedule everything around work. So yeah, but like I said, with my dad, he gives me all the time off that I need. So I couldn't ask for better.
And so when like balance, so earlier before when you just had a couple of fights or you just starting to get into the professional game, like did you ever have to balance that like that work boxing kind of lifestyle? Was it, or was dad just like, no, just put everything into it? Like,
I'd say probably the first 2 pro fights, it was always very lenient, but like not as much as now. So whereas now I'd have probably 6 weeks off before the fight, I probably would have just had like maybe the week off, the week before the fight off. But he's always like, even like in the amateur side of things, like whenever I said I needed a day off, like here and there to go and train, or say if I was fighting on the Saturday and I wanted the Friday off just to have a complete day of rest, he'd give me. But yeah, it's been the last couple of fights. Whenever I need time off, he'd give me as much time off as I need.
Now I want to move into something that I know it's going to be like really tough for you to talk about, but about your best friend, late best friend Marlon. Really unfortunately passed away in 2020. Obviously not just that, but that was in 2020 as well, in the lockdown year. So that even worked shitter, I guess. But there's a really nice photo. I might put it in, I don't know, but it's a really nice photo of you at his grave with his dad with the Midlands belt when you just won it recently. Really nice photo. So I was just wondering, like, how much have you used that to like use that as motivation to do the best you can in boxing? Like, I imagine like for some boxers or athletes, they always use something to like make sure they get them to the best. So I'm just wondering if that's it.
I feel like it's given me, like, don't get it wrong, like my girlfriend, and like we talk about having a family, but and you need to provide for them. But I feel like he is the reason that like I'm fighting for now. It was crazy. Like yesterday morning, we was in the gym and obviously the music's on, and there was a song that come on that was played at his funeral, and it like we were working on the bags, but like I kind of forgot about how tired I was, and I was just listening to the lyrics of the song, and it just pushed me through like the round, just little things like that. But yeah, obviously, like I said, it was hard being in the lockdown, and like that was hard enough as it was, and then obviously with that happening, it's been tough. It has been tough. I'd be lying if I said it hasn't. But yeah, it's kind of, like I said, pushed my boxing. It's increased my game now because I feel like I've got something to fight for in like keep like, I don't know if you've seen, like I got his name on my chest, and then like them cameras, however many people, hundreds of thousands of people are watching, they're all gonna see his name. To me, it's like I just want to keep his name going, because especially for Worcester, like everyone knew him. Like, I don't know if you've seen on I think there's a video on my Instagram. There was a video taken at his funeral, and there must have been about like 700 people there, and that was in the middle of lockdown. And there was like 700 people all following the carriage to the grave, and I just thought, like, yeah, it was crazy, but yeah, I feel like it's pushed me and it's given me something else to go for.
I think it's always good to have something to. Obviously, you always have your own targets, but I always think it's good to have something to push you on to that extra level. Moving on to your professional boxing journey now, and that obviously, I saw you won the national youth champs in 2018 at Worcester Amateurs Boxing Club.
Yeah.
What point did you realise? Was it after that you realised, okay, now I've got to make the next step and go to DP boxing with Malcolm, or like when did you realise you had to move on?
So I won the national youths in 2018, and then like I said, that was a big step for me, because that was then my chance to be able to like represent my country, and get a better name for myself so much, because so many years before, so like the championships, they go, so you fight in like your area, you become the best in the Midlands, and then there'll be other lads fighting from, I don't know, like the Northwest region, and then like London area, and then the winner of all them regions then go into a national stage, and so yeah, like so you could end up fighting like 5-6 times over the course of like 5 weeks, say, and yeah, so every year I always got so close. Like the previous 3 years before that, I always made it to the semi-final, and I'd always end up losing to lads. They were better lads than me, but yeah, for that fight, it was for that one, it was 3 fights in 3 days, for the quarter, semis, and finals, and yeah, I feel like after I won that pushed my name right up there, because I beat some good lads, and so yeah, so I was only 17 then, but then when you turn 18, you become a senior, and then obviously, and then you start boxing the men. So I thought, I'll give it a go 1 year as a senior, see how far I get, and we'll go from there. And then I made it to the quarterfinals, and I lost to a lad that was number 2 in the country. And with boxing, especially with amateur boxing, there's a lot of politics, and it's like, if your fate fits, like sometimes if they think that you got a better style than someone else, even though you might not have won the fight, they still give you the decision. So I just had so yeah, I decided to turn pro from there, and yeah, with Malcolm, and I haven't looked back since.
Really? So you think that's the thing? Like in the amateurs, they'll only pick the winners if it looks good. Is that
sometimes it's not all the time. Don't get it wrong, but if you ask a lot of boxers that have been around in the amateurs, it's like when after I won the nationals, and I represented England, and because in the amateurs you wear vests, and I used to, for all my fights after that, I always wore my England vest, because to the judges, they could see that I've boxed internationally.
Yeah,
it looks good. So sometimes if you're in a close fight, sometimes if the judge is watching you because you're the one that's wearing that vest, 9 times out of 10, you're gonna get that result. It was just a little thing, but to me, in my head, it was like that anyway. And a lot of it's certain styles. Like I was never like, I remember like the England side, like the England boxing, they used to like fighters that were like upright and used to use like long range shots and stuff like that. Whereas I like to get involved and make it like a bit of a gritty fight. Yeah, they didn't like that sort of stuff. So a lot of the time they would favour like a big stand-up, tall lad that just like to tippy tap, and that wasn't really me.
Well, likes to use his jab and just stay out on the out.
Yeah. That's what they.
So obviously now you're with Malcolm Melvin at DP Boxing. Obviously, I think there's a couple of boxing gyms in Worcester, but I think there's many. So was there any particular reason why you chose DP? Obviously, I know it's in Worcester, but and did you hear about Malcolm beforehand?
No, so yeah, I was with Malcolm originally when I first met Malcolm. We were training in Redditch, and Malcolm had 2 other lads training with him, and he said like come along, because I got in touch with him through a bloke that I knew, Adam Harper, which was a professional fighter. But yeah, I went to Malcolm. We was in Redditch, and yeah, I took to him straight away. We were very similar in like how we thought of like we should train and stuff like that. And he said like go around, have a look at different coaches, see who suits you the best, and if you think it's me, then obviously come back, and we're more than happy to have you on the team. So my plan originally was to go around and have a look at a couple of coaches and see who I gelled with the best. But as soon as I got with Malvin, like I said, it was I just felt like we just got on straight away, and we had the same looks on things, and yeah. So we was in Redditch at the start, and then a couple of things went on. Went around a couple of different gyms in Redditch, and then we got offered to train in Worcester. And Malcolm said, for me, he thinks it will improve my training, like me being back in my home city, and being able to train around people that like I know. So we were at Worcester. We were back at my old amateur gym, which was nice to be back there. But then they had a meet. We was there for about a year, I think, and then apparently they had the committee had a meeting, and they said that there was no pros allowed in the gym. So we said, okay, fair enough. And then we got offered John DP. He offered to take us in and said, if you still want to train in Worcester, he said, like, I'm more than happy to have you here. And yeah, we just haven't looked back since. We've really took to that place.
Yeah, when you say you really took to that place, because I always see like on your Instagram you're posting like pictures with like all your your mates there and stuff, and then obviously Malcolm's Jake Melvin, so Malcolm's son.
Yeah.
I mean, it comes across to me that you two are quite good friends, like you're quite close in there. So like, how much difference does that make fighting, like preparing camp with like a good mate? Like that must help so much.
Yeah. It makes it so much easier. Like I remember after my last fight, he was fighting like 2 weeks after me. I think it was 2 weeks after me. But usually, like after a fight, like you have a bit of time off. But when you've got like a talent, like a good friend in the gym with you training alongside, it makes it so much easier. So like, I made the decision like to get back. I wasn't in every day, but I was in quite a train because it helps him, and I think he'd do the same with me. Like he's fighting this weekend, and then I'm fighting 4 weeks after him, so it makes it so much easier. Like, you know, we have a good laugh, like we're all very similar. We have a good crack, but then when it comes to training hard and putting the graft in, we also do that. But yeah, like you said, it makes it so much easier when you got a good friend in the gym with you.
And you previously mentioned earlier that like there's not that many like famous fighters that have come out of Worcester. So like I was just asking, like, do you feel quite pressured to be the first one, if that makes sense, or do you like it? You're like, yeah, I'm gonna ride this. Like,
yeah, no, it is funny when you hear, because there's been a couple of good fighters. Bloke called Paul Busby fought a good Icky, and then Wayne Clayton from that. There has been like good names, but when you get people say like you're the best to come out of Worcester and you're only 22, and like it is flattering, but to me, like I don't do it to be the best out of Worcester. I just want to get as far as I can for like myself so much. But if that comes with people saying that, oh, you're the best to ever come out of Worcester, like, it is nice to hear, but it's not so much my goal to be the best out of Worcester. It's just it's nice to be up there, like, with the good names over the 100-year span that, like, Worcester's had, like, good boxers.
And when you spoke before about, like, when you're at the amateurs and stuff, like, obviously some amateurs, they'll go to Sheffield, which is where Team GB, they'll go through that development thing. Obviously you didn't do that, but did you ever have, like, were you ever close to doing that, or were you thinking of doing something similar? Like, and do you mind not doing it?
I went to I trained up at GB a couple times because of being part of after 2018. I was then on the England setup.
Yeah.
So we used to have, like, training camps up there, but as a youth, I think you have to be 18 and older to then become part, like, then get, like, your trials for GB and stuff like that. So I only had 1 year, about one season at that, at that sort of age in the amateurs, but it never really bothered me. I just wanted to. By the end of the amateurs, I'd pretty much done everything that I wanted to do. By winning the Midlands title and then win the national title and then, like, getting your England vest. To me, the biggest thing for me was getting the England vest and, like, saying I've boxed for my country. Like, that was the biggest thing, and that was what I wanted out of the amateurs the most. So being part of GB, don't get it wrong, it would have been nice if the opportunity come about, but it was never a big goal of mine now.
Well, that's fair enough, because I know some fighters, like, they're grateful that they did the Olympics and whatever, but I guess it's not for everyone. I just wanted to ask about that. Where I remember, I don't know if it was your last fight or the one before, but I remember someone asked you a question about like, where do you think you stand or whatever, and then you were like, oh, I want the titles, because you said you feel like you're a bit overlooked. You said you're overlooked. So I just wanted to ask, like, what do you mean when you think you're overlooked?
I just think maybe my age is played into it, and just, like, the amount of fights I've had as well. Like, someone told me the other day, I think I'm in 17. I think I'm 17 in Britain at the minute. And I'm the youngest by about three or 4 years, I think, in the top 20, and I think I've had the least amount of fights. So, but I feel like because of my, like, experience in the pro game, like, I'm maybe not getting shots that other people would if they had maybe 10 fights or 12 fights, just because I haven't had that many fights. But I feel like my ability wise, I'm definitely up there with the rest of them. So when I say, like, overlook, I think, like, that's what I mean. Like, I feel like I'm not getting certain shots, or I'm not getting looked at as much as what maybe other people would get looked at, just because they've kind of had more fights.
Yes. Yeah, I know. I understand that. Because I mean, obviously, your weight class is quite competitive anyway. Really competitive. And speaking on that, like, so obviously at the moment you're fighting at welterweight. Past couple fights have been at welterweight. But I've also seen that you said before previously, like, oh, I think I might do super lightweight. I might cut down. So have you decided yet where you're going to go down, super lightweight or what?
Yeah. We would have. This was probably, like, before lockdown. Sorry. We were having talks about going down to super lightweight, and I was meant to fight just before the lockdown come into play the first time. I was meant to fight in Worcester. It would be, like, the first pro show back in Worcester for, like, 30 years or something like that. And that was when we first decided that we were going to go down super lightweight and have a look. But obviously COVID hit, and people you couldn't really do anything, and I ended up just piling on a load of weight. And now there's no way I'll be able to make. So now like I'm a comfortable welterweight. Like I put on a good amount of weight after fights, and then I have to lose it all. But yeah, I feel like I wish I could make super lightweight, but yeah, dream's long gone.
Yeah. Obviously, your next fight, I looked at it, actually. He's called Eder Tobar. I don't know. 21-year-old Colombian. I think he's your first non-British opponent, I think.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's on Telford, 25th of March. Obviously, I don't know if, I'm sure you must have seen his last fight, but it didn't really end well. It didn't end pretty for him. It really didn't end pretty for him, bless him. So like, how, obviously it's scheduled for 8 rounds. How have you prepared? Maybe not preparing it for 8 rounds, maybe just planning to go in there and absolutely smoke him. But how have you prepared for being eight rounds?
Yeah, well, obviously the last fight was 10 rounds, and we're training just as hard as we did for that fight, if not harder. Because we're hoping that, obviously, I know there's no title, right? With the way we see it, there's no titles on the line or anything like that. But I've given myself the sort of platform that I have, and I've kind of pushed my name out there a bit more. My last performance, people are going to be watching, and I'll be able to keep them sort of performances up and keep people talking about me, and whether it's good or bad, whatever they have to say. But like I said, I need to keep people talking. So we've trained hard, and we still got just under 5 weeks to go. So it'd be nice. It'd be nice to get him out of there early. You know, no, you don't. There's the saying in boxing, you don't get paid for overtime. But yeah, like it's one thing in boxing, you never go looking for the knockout, because when you do it never seems to come. So we go in there, and like I said, we prepared for 8 rounds. But if it comes earlier, happy days.
Yeah. And like, when you do prepare for camp, do you just focus on the opponent, or are you just still everything about yourself? Like, you're still learning new little things and that, or is it just purely on the opponent?
Yeah, like we don't like it's difficult with this fight because there's not a lot of footage on him, so you can't really. I think that the one clip, obviously, he got panned out, but that was only it was like a 2-minute clip, and like that's all you.
I think we see the same one.
Yeah. And that's all we got to go off. So we kind of picked up off that clip of what his sort of style is going to be like. So then we just go from that. But yeah, we're always learning like new things in the gym, even like things that might not work for the opponent you got coming up, but it'll work for the next opponent you got after that. So we're always learning new things, and whether it works or not on the opponent that we've got next, only time will tell. But yeah, we're always going for different things.
And if you do win, obviously you've previously mentioned that you'd like to fight Harry Scarf for English weight title. Is that still? I'm guessing that's still something you'd like to do after this fight or in the near future. Is there anyone else you'd like to fight?
Whoever's got the belt. I think Harry Scarf's going for. I think he's vacated the title now since my last fight, and I think he's been ordered to fight for the British title. But either way, I just want whoever's got the belt. You know, like I know people might think like I'm not experienced enough, but like you got to beat the best, like, and that's what I'm willing to do. Like I'm willing to get in there with anyone and go.
Yeah, that's the right mindset, mate. That's the right mindset. So last question, and I always ask all of my guests this at the end, because obviously the podcast is called In 10 Years Time. So Owen Cooper, obviously you're 22 at the moment. Imagine 10 years time, you're 32. It's February 2020, 33. That's mad to think about.
Yeah,
it is. It is, but yeah, where would you like to see yourself in 10 years' time in boxing?
10 years, I don't know. In 10 years, I think I'd hope to, yeah, I'd hope to still be boxing. Well, depend on how much money I make. If I make enough money, mate, I'd retire tomorrow if I made enough money. But
really? Okay.
yeah, I say I would, but I don't know. Like when you're in camp, it's hard and this and that. But then when I'm away from boxing, when I've had injuries and stuff like that, you do start to miss it. So I say that all the time. But whether I would walk away or not, I don't know. But 10 years, I'd like to be up there challenging for some sort of world title. I think I'd hope by then I've had a British title, a European title. You know, I've done. I set out in the sport to what I wanted. The main goal was to win a British title. I just think it's the best looking bout, and I think being from Britain, I think it's just the most. I think it is the best bout there is. But obviously, my goal, like I think everyone's goal, is to go on and win a world title. And I believe with Malcolm there, and he's been there before, and he's fought in the big fights, and he's got all the experience that's needed. I think he can take me a very long way. And yeah, in 10 years, I'd like to be definitely up there challenging for a world title, and hopefully we can do that.
Mate, I think you're more than capable after speaking to you. You've definitely got the right mindset, and obviously I've seen you. You definitely got the skills. So yeah, no, thanks for taking some of your time out to do so, and really appreciate it.